we'll get into comps. We'll get into discussing the guilds in a little bit more in detail, of course. But right off the bat, Gregor, Wavy versus VR predictions.
I'll say 4-3 Wavy. I think we go the distance tonight.
4-3 Wavy.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I think this will be a good one.
Now, I'm all right. Fair enough. I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna say 4-3, but for VR instead. I think VR have the potential to take us, and they are the only guild thus far, I believe, coming into this tournament to actually take a round off of Wavy. And I believe they've been practicing, and they did beat out Boo recently. So I think we're gonna, maybe they've been spicing some things up. But here we go. First round coming out right here. VR versus Wavy. Right off the bat. Oh, I can't actually use DPS meter. There's a 1 wins coming out here from VR on top of, from Wavy on top of VR stack. Yeah, one player going to be going down here, Scourge, and a very interesting party setup. But another player going to be going down if the Scourge immediately gets a Mide Spellbreaker. He looks like he is probably going to get cleaved out. I don't think we have an Amai coming out for him. Starting to get hard resed, actually, still alive. But Wavy are going to be able to finish him off, yeah. That's going to be the first dead of this round, going the way of Wavy. VR pushing back in. They're going to get CC'd back, however. Another Scourge going to be going down, and now the raid leader looking a little bit low here. 2 players going to be dropped now into downstate 3, 4. Big spike coming up from Wavy here, as several from VR going to downstate. And I think that is going to be GG. It is. And that's going to be round 1 going to Wavy. I don't know what's happening with these parties. VR has put themselves into a 10-man party.
Very
interestingly
interesting.
enough. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with that. I'm not sure
More
if that
of a traditional comp from Wavy. Some would say old-fashioned.
Oh,
but they're running 5-man parties, which is something you see a lot. But
yeah. And I realized I actually can't see the DPS, unfortunately. Of
do you not have Arc DPS
squad? Well, I do, but I don't know if it'll show this squad because they're enemies to me. On the server.
That's a good question, brother.
I don't think it does. And now I can't actually seem to get the DPS meter to come back up as well. So that's
Control-Shift-H.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I assume you know because you're
there it is now.
guy.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It wasn't working. But yes, I don't think it'll show me the damage because they're enemies, unfortunately. But we'll just have to assume that they're doing damage. But anyways, why don't you give us the specifics of the comps there for Wavy while I update the score?
So, Wavy is running what would we call a new meta comp. They're running 3 Firebrands, 4 Scourges, of course, 1 Spellbreaker, 3 Scrappers, 2 Heralds, 1 Chronomancer, and 1 Daredevil.
Okay, fair enough. On the side of VR, we're going to have 3 Firebrands, double Daredevil, 3 Scrappers as well, 4 Scourges, 2 Spellbreakers, and 1 Tempest for sustain there.
So they're dropping the Chronomancer altogether. Interesting. So you're not going to see any Illusion of Lives, as it were.
You're not. No, definitely a lot more guilds, I think, have been moving away from the Chronomancer recently. Certainly after the Scrapper buff, we saw less. Now, I don't know if we're going to see a repeat of this 10-man party here. Not sure if that was just the first round coming out there. But what are your thoughts on 10-man parties? I mean, what's the benefit of doing that? Do you think there's a benefit?
I don't think there's a benefit yet. I think the way ArenaNet's going is that we'll slowly inch towards 10-man parties. I think if ArenaNet changes so your F3 tomes and Firebrand affect 10 targets, I think you'll start to see the rise of 10-man parties. But it's not really a necessity yet, just based on how boons work and how just stuff is assigned in the game. Not really beneficial, just because you really don't want to be playing lottery and RNG with your boons like stability, of course. But
here we go. Looks like the second round coming out now. And unfortunately, I'm going to be casting from the side of Wavy as well. But here, nice reveal coming out here on to VR. So Wavy should have a pretty good gauge. However, Shade's coming out onto Wavy from VR. Don't see anyone going. Oh, do they? Okay. Scrapper going to be going low. Couple players down from Wavy. Looks like the MIs come out for him. But Viridian now in the back line. I'm not sure if he's on Thief or Necro. Several downstage coming out here actually from Wavy. VR doing quite a bit of damage. And that's going to be at least 2 dead. I think Nara's dead as well. It is. So that's going to be 2 Necromancers dead already from Wavy. Third player going to be going down as VR pushed straight through. Looking for a wins here. That's going to be VR's wins. And 3 more players going down. It looks like VR might have this round. All they need to do is keep up this momentum. And they do. They take it. Wavy cracking, and it's going to be 1-1. VR taking a round just like that.
Just like we saw in the Boo GvG. They're the masters of the comeback.
They are. Now, they did lose 2 rounds in the Boo GvG, of course.
Well, you know.
But before they started winning. But nonetheless, you know, we are obviously happy to see it starting early here for them. And as I mentioned before, VR currently the only guild, I believe. Rex may have taken 1 round in scrims after the tournament started, but certainly coming into the tournament, VR was the only guild to take a round off of Wavy. Wavy being our seed, our top seed, I should say, in the tournament. And certainly, I would say the best guild on an A. And I believe the one round or the couple rounds that VR had taken was during a scrim where the final score was something like 20-5 or something. I mean, maybe you can comment on that better since you're in Wavy.
Yes.
So, you know, and I think Wavy had won, you know, something like 10 rounds, you know, before VR even started taking rounds off. So to see them take a round here in the second round of this GvG is actually very encouraging. And again, it really contributes to my assumption that VR is certainly one of the stronger guilds in this bracket and one of the best chances for us to see Wavy being beaten here. So far,
absolutely. Like they're pretty good and they're pretty tough. And like I said before, I think they're great at rebounding, which a lot of guilds aren't. When they get hit, they actually think about it and they try to get better between rounds and not necessarily between GvG. So that's why I think we're going to the distance for this one. I think we're going to see a 4-3 score. But
yes, I do definitely agree. 1-0 now. The timer called out for the next round, so we got about a minute to wait. And definitely, I said this during the Boo GvG. I was expecting Boo to win, to be honest, but I said that I thought Boo would win. However, I didn't think that was going to be the end. We saw VR, obviously. I mean, it is a double in bracket, so they can, of course, come back in the loser's bracket. But I felt that VR, very strong guild. They just weren't as used to GvGing as a lot of the other guilds in this bracket are or were. And I felt that, you know, as they continued to GvG, they would improve, and they would improve quickly. And so I felt, you know, maybe you know, at the point where they were fighting Boo, I didn't think they were ready, but of course they were. You know, I just took that. And I thought maybe, you know, further on in the bracket they would have, you know, obviously done more scrims outside of the tournament, and of course just had another GvG in the tournament sitting under their belt to review. So I definitely would have considered one of these guys one of the top guilds. Maybe not quite as good as TE or even Rex, although, as we've seen, Rex, you know, losing to PMA, definitely, I think, dropping them sort of further down the seeding there. But nonetheless, we are definitely one of the top contenders here. And Stealth comes out for both these groups. In the third round, score is 1-1.
Yeah, exciting. Reveal coming out from VR a little bit early.
But they do have 3 scrappers. However, VR going to be revealed. Immediately going to be using some shades here. Wind's coming up, but immediately going to get interrupted. 1 down, actually. Thief now is going to get unmied. Good res coming out. Wavy bubble now coming out here. Not interrupted quite as quickly, and that's going to be putting a lot of pressure on VR. Finally drops after a couple seconds, but another player going to go down. That same Thief, most likely going to get cleaved out. He is, and that's going to be a kill so far here for Wavy. Second wind's now going to be used by VR, pushing back in. Not sure there's too much follow-up on that, but it does seem like they get a good bit of pressure out. Actually, Wells may be dropped, but another downstate here. Scrapper going to get unmied again very quickly up. VR really needs to try to put some damage on a Wavy.
But now VR is using all their cooldowns. They don't have that Chronomancer for an Illusion of Life hold. So if Wavy can crack 1 or 2 players here from VR, it's going to be really lights out.
That's 3 down, possibly more. Several of them in stealth.
Now they have to hand rest. They can't MI to these people. They have to hand rest, and that's going to be a killer for them later in the round.
I think that's going to be GG. And yes, looks like it is. Very, very good call there, Gregor. Yeah, definitely not rocking that Illusion of Life. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of not using the
it's such a free 10 seconds of like, because that 10 seconds is just, you can restack, you can get a reform, you can just put barrier on that guy, and that guy's up. Where if you don't have that, you better hope that, because they only got, what do they got, 3 firebrands, right? So you better hope that you don't have any players go down after that first initial go around, otherwise you're gonna be stuck.
And I am just trying to get out of combat here, so I don't like being slow. So apologies. Cool. There we go. Yeah. So we've now seen back and forth, you know, a little bit here, with these rounds in regards to these guilds. And Wavy only running the one warrior, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So how do you feel about wins now? With the wins change, do you think it's still valuable running more than one? Do you think it's valuable even running one?
I think absolutely, running 1 is fantastic. I think 2 would probably be even better, but it's hard to see what you would trade off for it. Maybe a rev, but you obviously can't get rid of the scrapper, the firebrands, or the scourges, so you're going to be trading off either a daredevil or a rev for it.
Or in VR's case, maybe the Chrono. I mean, that's why we see them not running it because they are
true.
running 2 Warriors. And then Peralta just asking what Wavy's comp is, if you wouldn't mind just going over it again.
So Wavy is running 3 Firebrands, 3 Scourges, 2 Heralds. Did I say 3 Scourges? Sorry.
Yeah.
4 Scourges, 3 Scrappers, 2 Heralds, 1 Daredevil, 1 Chronomancer.
And 1 Warrior.
Correct, yes.
No Tempests on the side of Wavy.
No Tempests, no.
That's the, oh, hold on. Apparently Steel has stacks. Let me,
well,
Steel, no stacks, please.
Young Rage over there. Steel, clear your stacks. You frickin' dingus.
Oh, okay. Yes. What a dingus. Steel has removed his stacks. It's all above board now, boys. Still trying to get that extra, I mean, he really needs those extra Bloodlust stacks to pad his numbers, I think, to be honest with you, if he even wants to show up on the meter. But yes,
like,
as you were saying.
Going back to what we were talking about the previous round, VR being able to come back and adjust, that isn't to discredit Wavy in any way. They're obviously top-seeded for a reason. So that's what makes this particular matchup very interesting, is that we have 2 guilds that are able to adjust very well. And so now we're trying to see who can adjust better and more quickly. I think that's what the key is. I don't think Wavy's going to change much comp-wise. I don't know if VR is swapping anything in or out, but I think at this point we're just more of individual gameplay that's going to decide things.
Yeah, so far they haven't. Here we go, Stealth coming out. Let's see if VR is going to be able to take a second round here, or if Wavy is going to be able to take 2 in a row. Obviously, VR don't want to give them this next round because then Wavy will only need 1 more. I get revealed, almost. A couple of VR people. Actually, looks like they come out of Stealth a little early. I'm not sure if that was a reveal from Wavy. I don't think it was. But Wavy now going to be using his Sneak Gyros to re-stealth. VR just pulling back. Looks like some of them may be taking a Veil. Looks like they do. CC coming out here from Wavy. Splitting VR up, and immediately one's going to go down. Firebrand, that'll be a big loss. 1 MI, but it's not going to be enough. Another player going down. And they don't get the res on this first. Firebrand wins from Wavy as well.
That's a huge amount of sustained loss. Sorry.
No worries. It's 2 bubbles now, both used there from VR. Wavy pulling out, able to regroup pretty well. A lot of Brown Crusher as well. Looks like Wells even dropped, I believe, from Wavy. And 2 more going to go down now.
Scourge going down. This might just be a snowball here, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be second player cleave, 2 more, 3 more going down.
It's so tough not having that Chronomancer.
Yeah.
Like, it's been devalued for sure in more of the open field sense. But in GvGs, it's kind of almost required that you have one. And it's tough, like, for sure, my man.
No, why is Wavy going into stands? I don't think they did go into stands.
They did not go into the stands. They blasted Stealth right by this little pillar right here.
Yeah.
And it was completely legal, brother.
And
they did not grab the cage. There was no cage grabbing.
Yeah, they also didn't blast. They just, I think they used gyros.
They just used gyros? But they should have 15 seconds just on gyro alone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to blast with gyros because then the blast finishers show up. But with the gyro, there's no tell. They just use gyros, exactly. What is this 10-man party meta I missed? Well, there is no more 10-man party. It was just the first round if you are using it. But either way, here we go. It's 3-1 now. Wavy 1 round away from just closing this GvG out, only losing the 1. They've won 2 in a row. What does VR need to do to stop them from just losing out right here? I mean, what can they do differently other than just put a Chrono in? Since we've been harping on that so much.
Short of that, VR's greatest strength is their ability to get the opening bomb really well. And if they're not going to be able to do that, they have to pull off and hope that Wavy burns all of their cooldowns before it happens. But if VR can't stealth or get a reveal off, they're going to be hard-pressed to even do any of that. So they just either kind of do a single target focus type of thing when Wavy comes out of stealth, or just really, really, really hope that your scrappers are able to get a reveal off on Wavy before they can do their re-stealth.
Yeah, sorry, just map chatting it up.
No, absolutely.
Oh, look, there's Bill Nye here. Yeah, no, absolutely agree. The 1 round we saw VR take, they had a much better engage there, immediately getting some pressure down, getting a couple kills, and were able to snowball off that. Also, definitely not. They have 2 Heralds in their first party as subs right now. They're not using either of them, and I would like to see them try. I think Herald. There's not really a reason to take it out of the meta, as you said. Wavy's going to be running 2. It does a stupid even amount of damage.
I think yeah. I think it's tough when they put those heralds in, because I'm assuming those heralds are a little bit more glassy. So they're very suspect to getting just insta-downed. And because they don't have the illusion, they can't afford to waste an MI right away if a Herald goes down.
Yeah.
And if it does go down, obviously, like you said, that's a lot of loss of damage right off the bat. And so maybe that's what they're trying to bank on. Like, the Thieves are able to do a little bit of teleporting. They can, shuck and jive a little bit and try to avoid damage proactively, whereas Heralds kind of just hope you don't get hit. Obviously, you have a couple of defensive cooldowns or whatnot, but it's a lot tougher if a Herald goes down than a Thief, I think. But just my opinion.
Yeah, I do think that Thieves tend to get cleaved out a little bit quicker than Heralds, but yeah, you're not, not wrong there for sure. But here we go. Stealth coming out. Potentially the last round, Wavy versus VR. Wavy going to look to just close it out right here, and VR, of course, going to look to stop them. Let's see if they're going to be able to do it. So far, Wavy 2 in a row. There's the Sneak Drivers coming out, and I think VR, I'm not sure if that was fake blast. I think it was. Oh, no. There's a blast finisher there. Not exactly sure what happened. They might not have full stealth, though. But here we go. 3 scrappers from Wavy coming out, and there's going to be the reveal. Wavy will have the engage.
Those are so key.
Stealth about to drop, but Wavy should have the engage here. Let's see how many people go down. 1, 2 going down immediately. The raid leader for VR very, very low.
They have to commit to those.
Thief going to get cleaved out. No res for him. But the Scourge is going to get up. There's a wins now from Wavy. VR need to be able to put some pressure back on this. Otherwise, Wavy are going to run them over right here. No one going down, but there's 1. Possibly 2. The Scrapper, none of those Scourge going very low. I don't think they have the MIs for it. 2 still in down state. 2 starting to get cleaved out in VR's own wins. 1 going to get hard resed. 1 dead. That's going to be 13 at the moment versus 15.
Oof. 1 Scourge getting low for Wavy, but she's just able to get back up again. VR's Tooth kind of get taken off of that first push. They're going to lose another Spellbreaker.
Yeah, 3, 5, 6 going down state.
It's all over the place.
And there's no way they come back. So that is it. That's going to be 4-1. Wavy looking very clean the last few rounds. Struggling a little bit in the early rounds there against VR, but certainly not having any problems to make it 4-1. And just like that, we're sending VR down to the losers bracket.
Don't call them losers, Roy. That was a very good match.
Not winners
bracket. They are in the lower bracket. They're not losers. Just because the score indicates that they may have lost this time, I am sure that they will be seeing Wavy again in the near future when they rise from the ashes.
I think you mean VR, since Wavy won.
Correct. What did I say?
I think you said we'll see Wavy soon when they rise from the ashes. But I also, I'm not sure. Anyways, Hylek potions coming out here. But guys.